Hey everyone, it's Claire. It's summer solstice, Litha, in the Wheel of the Year. And I've just done my little ceremony um, with, doing things I need to do. You can see I've set up a table. I was just going to talk through some of the myth and folklore. So it's the longest day, obviously, and it's boiling hot here actually. It must be at least 24, 25 degrees, and we're going to have a scorcher of 2 or 3 days. So the myth folklore, it's the cycle of seasons is seen as a love affair between the earth goddess and the sun god. And at midsummer, the union is fulfilled and the goddess becomes pregnant with all earth's bounty. And the man, as protector, begins to prepare for the year's darkness. And it's soon hinted at by shrinking hours of daylight. Because obviously, after today, the hours of daylight start to fade, unfortunately. I'll also do a little astrology summary because I looked at that yesterday, so I'll do a separate video. I hope you like my headdress, which I believe was probably an old Christmas wreath, and I'll just put some things on it. So they're depicted as two lovers and vying for the one full of light, vying for the goddess, and one is full of light and the other darkness, which is actually very yin yang type thing, that we've all got light and darkness in us as well. So all of the symbolization is, all through so much of our history and so much of our cultures and multicultures, really. I just do the Wheel of the Year, which is based on the Wiccan Wheel of the Year, which looks at 8 Sabbats, as they're known as, and I celebrate them. And it's really linking in with nature, very much so, I feel, really. So it symbolises the two aspects of God, his bright waxing face as light grows from midwinter to midsummer, and his shadowed face as the year wanes and the days shrink from midsummer to midwinter. And it's also depicted in the drama of the Holly King and the Oak King, and they fight at each solstice, the summer and the winter one. Holly, who is lord of the waning year, vanquishes his rural Oak King, and it's actually enacted at pagan festivals and stone circles and things. It could have been enacted today at Stonehenge, I guess. Honey and mead are traditional drinks too. I actually made some elderflower cordial, which I did a toast with just now, and it was lovely. And midsummer was the time of the ancient Minoan New Year, when the powers of light were at their strongest, and it was at the end of a 40-day period of collecting honey from hives, and this was then made into mead and drunk. And ancient Crete also was very spiritual, and they thought the bee humming was the voice of the goddess, and her priestesses were called Melissa, which means bee, and bees were symbols of regeneration. Actually, by the way, as well, I gathered herbs and I burn them in a little mini cauldron, really, and it's about symbolism of releasing your woes and your heart, healing issues and things like that. But as I was doing it, a beautiful robin came right up to me on the fence, and it stayed there for 5, 6, 7 seconds. It was very close. And I have to say, it's Father's Day in Great Britain as well. And just as I was waking up, which is when the veil is so thin, I got a depiction of my dad in spirit, which was amazing because I had forgotten it was Father's Day, which is why he showed. Well, it's also midsummer and the veil is thin, so it was amazing, absolutely incredible. It was split second too, and it forms. There's just a picture in the third eye that I get, but it's also, I knew that he was present. His energy was present in my bedroom, so it's hard to explain that. But the third eye and the actual eye, are kind of together. Anyways, so Litha is the traditional Wiccan name for this Sabbat on the 21st, celebrated 21st of June. And the Oak King dies at the hand of his brother, the Holly King, who will rule with Yule. Will rule until Yule, when the oak will be reborn as the Oak King and days become longer again. And the battle is celebrated at Yule with the god in his guise as the Oak King prevailing, and the days become longer again. There's a constant switching going on, and it all links with nature as well. And our Celtic ancestors counted May Day, May the 1st, as the first day of summer, and Lammas, August the 1st, as the last day of summer. And then this solstice, summer solstice, is definitely midway. And there are celebrations all over the world. Obviously, this is just the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's the opposite. So it would be the winter solstice. So in pagan India, the main festival was midsummer, and Litha is Saxon. Alban Heron is Celtic. Vestalia is the ancient Rome name. Gathering Day in Wales. Fiel Sheetain in Scotland. Alban Heflin, Anglo-Saxon tradition. And All Couples Day in Greece. Feast of Epona, ancient Gauls in France. The sun is highly prominent as a symbol of protection. It's one of the 4 fire festivals, and it was a time of fire magic, and the Celts lit balefires from sunset to the next day. Oh, my dog's just chilling out at the moment. I don't know if you can see her. There are celebrations all over the world, obviously, for it. So it's a big, big day. It's just amazing. It's happened on Father's Day today as well. And it's celebrated from North Africa to Scandinavia with fire. And people dance around the fire clockwise and carry lit torches and so on. The wheel of the year is a circle, and wreaths like this one on my head of flowers, greenery represent it, and wreaths are hung on doors. So this will probably go on my, it actually hangs on my window in the kitchen. And Midsummer Eve, so last night, is called St. John's Eve, and he was assigned this feast and was born 6 months before Christ, who gets obviously the solar festival, the winter solstice. And he is patron of shepherds and beekeepers, and we also acknowledge sheep and bees at this time. And it's a time also linked with water, and there were certain St. John baptized with water, while Christ baptizes with fire and the Holy Spirit. And in Mexico, St. John presides over all water, and people dress wells, fountains with candles and paper. And it's also a really potent time to gather herbs. So I did that just now, actually, before, and then I crunched them up, and I mixed up dry with fresh. But it's a great time to gather them. The Celtic Druids loved mistletoe, and it was often cut with a golden sickle, especially if on the oak, which they believed was very sacred and blessed by God. And lavender is very key. It's like a love magnet. Put some lavender in mine. And burnt at ham fastings and sought after as an aphrodisiac. Vervain was gathered at midsummer before dawn, and pine cones, amulets for protection, virility and fertility. And sunflowers can be used, marigolds, calendulas. I got calendulas in my mix. And got St. John's wort, golden discs, throwing herbs on the fire and burning them in a mini cauldron, like I've done, or a cauldron. And you can hang St. John's wort over the doors or windows for protection. The sun is associated with vitality, and as you throw the herbs or flowers into the fire, acknowledge your accomplishments and maybe write a journal. And it's really, a good time to, if you have a bonfire, you can leap over it, or even over a candle, and it's meant to revitalise you a bit. Don't get stuck on it. And plans made at Imbolc, Ostara and Beltane, the previous 3 sabbats, are now in fruition, and so we give thanks for that. And for things waning now, with the light decreasing now onwards, sort of thing. So it peaks now, and then it's, reducing down. It is a time of great abundance, though, as well, as the corn is growing in the fields and so on, and all the cereal crops are coming through. Lovely food is all sorts of things like, fresh fruit and veg, flour cordials, elderflower, honey cakes, biscuits, lots and lots of herbs, mugwort, St. John's wort, chamomile, daisy, elder. Got some elder, I got some mugwort, I've got lavender. I've got herbs here actually. I'm growing them. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's a bit wild that side. So I live on the wild side, on this side. No, I've got a more normal side there. I don't know if you can see that. So traditionally very powerful to gather herbs now and oils. So I actually used olive oil to bless myself with some mint in, but frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, lemon, pine, jasmine, rose, lotus, wisteria. I used a red candle. You can use gold, yellow, green, blue. Several incenses: lavender, lemon, rose, frankincense, lotus, pine, jasmine. Several gemstones and seashells as well, like emerald jade, tiger's eye, lapis lazuli, clear quartz crystal, garnet, ruby, shells. All very lovely if you have like a mini altar, which I've actually created over here. Don't know if you can see that very well. So I'll share something with that on a bit later, I think. And lots of different activities you can do. Scrying divination, I did some cards just now, and love charms, love and sex spells, good time for them, prosperity spells, herbal magic, telling the story of the Oak King and Holly King, and all those different herbs that I've already mentioned. You can put in the bale fire. Gods that would be celebrated would be like linked with the sun: Apollo, Balder, Cernunnos, Dagda, Gwydion, Helios, Lu, Horus, Egypt, Lugh, the Welsh god, Pan, Ra, Sol, Tammuz, Zeus, Prometheus, Ares, Thor. Goddesses: Isis, Hathor, Astarte, Diana, Hecate, Demeter, Kali, Inanna, Hestia, Juno, Amaterasu, Japanese, Silis, Minerva, very linked to bath and water, Suna, Sol, German, and a few others. And yeah, there's lots of other things linked in. But it's a beautiful time for celebrating abundance and just kind of taking time out a little bit as well. So that's my summary. Have a wonderful solstice and happy Father's Day in the UK or anywhere else you're celebrating. I'll do an astrology one in a minute as well, because it's beautiful astrology at the moment. Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, etc., all very, very active, and Moon in Cancer, amazingly, where it's exalted. Okay, bye. Happy solstice.